What's going on, GameLeapers? It's the Jizz, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about the 15 best mid laners for 11-15 and the champions you're going to have the best chance of winning on in the next patch. Now, there are some changes coming to mid lane champions, and to know what these are and what these mean for the Rift, it is very important that you watch the entire video. But knowing who to play is one thing. Knowing how to play is the biggie. So if you actually want to escape your elo hell this season, make sure to check out the GameLeap website, linked down below in the description and comment section for all of your League of Legends needs. The top challenger coaches and players around the world make guides for you every single day, so to get that exclusive access, sign up. Alright, so let's get into the countdown, guys, and starting us off, coming in at number 15 is Kale. And Kale's getting nerfed this patch, that's right, so her base magic resist is going down by 4. Big deal. Now, it kind of is a big deal, because in the mid lane, you are going to be playing against mages for the most part. So against the Leblancs, against the Silases of this world, you are going to be taking more damage, and the early game in particular is going to be harder to get through, which is really kind of like the only drawback of Kale at the moment. Once you get to Nash's 2 from Riftmaker, the game's pretty much over, but getting to that point is going to be a little harder, which is why she isn't as high as last time. So Kale comes in at number 15. Now, another scaling damage dealer in the mid lane, AP that is coming in at number 14, and this is Cassiopeia. And for Cassiopeia next patch, this is great. You're getting buffed, so your E is going to be dealing more damage. And in terms of trading throughout the early game, this is unreal. This means even at level 1, if you start your E, you can probably beat anyone one-on-one, and when you do land your Q, we all know how oppressive Cassiopeia is when she does land her Q, this makes you even more dangerous, but there is still a little bit of an issue with Cass, and that is just surviving. Against Zeds, against AD champions in particular, because of the Seeker's Arm Guard nerf, is certainly harder to survive. But this buff gives you a chance of being the snowball and the 1v9 carry, so Cass comes in at number 14. Now, beating her to number 13 is another scaling mage, and this is Anivia. And Anivia this season, guys, has been unreal, like so consistent, so good, and that is thanks to the changes in the preseason that Riot put into Anivia. So the fact that your Frostbite now deals double the damage, even when your Q just clips an enemy champion, so you don't have to stun them with it. This is great, especially in the laning phase, because not all the time you're going to land your Q, but if you just hit the enemy champion, you get that double damage. The fact that your ultimate as well is on a lower cooldown now means that you pretty much get every single CS post level 6. Just make sure to steal your jungler's blue buff. And in terms of your items as well, the fact that Leandry's is easier to get now because it's 200 gold cheaper. This accelerates that amazing scaling of yours, so Anivia comes in at number 13. Now, beating her to the number 12 spot, if you want to play the second best AD assassin in the game, you have got to pick Zed. And you guys might be like, Zed, what? How on earth can Zed come in this countdown after the Prowler's Claw nerf? Well, the Prowler's Claw nerf for sure, if you are to build Prowler's Claw, is a bit of an issue, but you have Duskblade to choose from, you have Eclipse to choose from, and it doesn't really matter what lethality item you buy, you're going to one-shot pretty much everyone. Of course, you still have to land your shurikens, but even then, I think Zed is in a position where you don't even need them. You can just ult, E, auto-attack, ignite, you know, who needs your shurikens? But it is true against Cassiopeia, who's getting buffed next patch, and Syndra, for example. The mid lane, yeah, you might cop it a little bit before level 6, but once you get to that point, arguably the biggest level 6 spike in the game, so Zed comes in at number 12. Now, beating the Shadow Assassin to number 11 on this countdown, guys, is Annie. And Annie, next patch, is getting nerfed. So what's happening is that your Q's AP ratio is going down by 5%. Now, you do max your Q first, so you are going to feel this, especially later in a game as you start getting more AP in your kit. But in terms of your actual strengths, like why you pick Annie, first of all, it's to kill people in lane, right? This is not going to go anywhere. You're still going to be able to one-shot people. And in team fights as well, you're always going to be useful just because you have that stun with your ultimate. So even if your Q does a little less damage, and that is it, by the way, it's just a tiny amount, like 5%. It's not like 20%, right? So there's nothing really to write home about here, and Annie will still be good, so she comes in at number 11. Now, starting off the top 10, guys, if you want more of a consistent mage in the mid lane, it's time to pick Ahri. Now, if you're new to the mid lane or even the game, Ahri is one of the best champions to pick, mainly because she does everything well. In terms of mobility, sustain, damage, setup for your teammates, you have pretty much everything, and it's very hard to actually die on Ahri. And because Everfrost is 200 gold cheaper now, and you're getting this earlier in your games, this means that you're setting up more kills, right? So when those dragon fights come around, those Rift Herald fights, you can ult in Everfrost, which guarantees your charm, and it is all but over for that enemy carry. So Ahri comes in at number 10. Now, beating Ahri to the number 9 spot, one of the main reasons I've put Lissandra on this list is because Leblanc is getting played a heck of a lot more at the moment, and Lissandra is Leblanc's ultimate counter. So that's the main reason. If you ever see a Leblanc in Champ Select, just pick Lissandra. But also because Lissandra, a bit like Ahri, is very, very forgiving to play and is always going to have a major impact in a game. Your Q is very easy to land and is on a low cooldown, so in terms of wave clear, poke, and harass, damage in teamfights, it's really good. Your W as well, you don't have to aim it, you just press W and anyone near you gets rooted. And then your ultimate, it is point and click, and you can even use it on yourself if you do happen to misplay. And just like Ahri, guys, with Everfrost, with Zhonya's Hourglass, Lissandra is one of the most stable mid laners you can pick, and also one of the nuts. Now, beating Lissandra, guys, to the number 8 spot, this is the best AD assassin in the game, and this is Kiana. So if you don't like said, Qiyana, it's got to be. She's the last one left. Now, I guess you could pick Talon, but Talon is so reliant on Prowler scoring because they nerfed it, so now you can only use it on enemy champions. Your playmaking potential is kind of now minimal. But with Qiyana, because you have an innate dash in your kit, you have two of these in fact, with your E and your W, enemy champions are still easy access. Like, you don't actually need Prowler score to be effective. And I also want to point out, I don't know if you guys have played against Qiyana's, but if you have, even a Qiyana who's getting pumped in the mid lane, like let's say they're 1-4 with like 5 CS per minute, you still have to be wary of them because of their innate damage and because of their innate threat as well, especially in team fights around dragon pits and all that stuff, because of their ultimate. So even if you are behind, you still hit pretty hard, but if you are ahead, oh my goodness me, biggest snowball ever. Now, another champion on this list, guys, who's on this list but is getting nerfed next patch, this is Silas coming in at number 7. And what's happening is that your Q's damage is getting increased in terms of its base and its AP scaling, but your W is getting nerfed, and W is your most important ability because you're maxing this first, so its base damage is down and the AP ratio is down as well. But here's the thing, guys, this change is a bit like the Annie nerf. It's not going to be impactful enough to reduce Silas's amazing strengths at the moment. You might want to put like 3 points in your Q and then max your W, but W max is still going to be the way to go, and because Everfrost is cheaper, I've said that like 5 times in this video, and with your Lucidity boots, the fact that you're going to get more setup earlier in a game for those team fights is crucial. The Everfrost route leads into your chains, and for enemy champions as well, I mean, in team compositions, in any elo really, you're always going to have an ultimate that's going to be so impactful. So Silas, I cannot not put him on this list, and he comes in at number 7. Now, if you don't want to stress yourself out and play a mechanical champion, then I have the champion for you, and coming in at number 6, guys, it is Malzahar. So if you just want to point and click, play with one hand, play with no hands even, you can pick Mouse. Super easy to play, super forgiving, very hard to kill. You're always going to be impactful, there's that word again, because of that point and click ultimate, right? And with Liandry's Anguish, getting this quicker in a game means you're going to get more ultimates off because you're getting access to that ability haste. So legit, just run around like a headless chook, press your R, and you win. That is legit it. And with Liandry's Anguish as well, you do so much damage even in team fights, taking Baron. It's all way too useful for how easy he is to play, so Mouse comes in at number 6, and he's also had one of the best win rates for the entire season. Now, starting off the top 5, guys, if you enjoy these countdowns, let the Jizz know by leaving a like down below. And also, last reminder for you guys to check out the GameLeap website to get access to up to 20 videos. That's right, 20. We upload original. They're all fresh as well. They're not just recycled from YouTube, okay, like our other competitors. We care about you and your improvement. You can hear me. You believe me, right, when I say that. So get signed up. Listen to the coach who coach rank 1 of US. Get signed up. Links down below. Wow, I got really into that, didn't I? Now my voice hurts. But coming in at number 5, guys, starting off the top 5, is Lee Sin. And for another patch, I know you guys are probably pulling your hair out because Lee Sin on another countdown video, but it's true. I can't run from the facts. Lee Sin is going to be strong again. No nurse next patch to Lee Sin and his items, so Gore Drinker with Serious Gauge with Black Cleaver, whatever it is you build. In the mid lane, you're super hard to push out of it. You always have kill threat, even though it's not like you're building that much damage. Gore Drinker, okay, it does give you damage, but it's not like you're building Eclipse or some lethality item, so you're tanky while still being like an assassin, and your ultimate, once you hit level 6, very scary to play against. You can't really even go near him because of the threat of getting killed, so Lee Sin comes in at number 5. Now, beating Lee to number 4, I said you have to pick Lissandra for one reason. Why is that? Because Leblanc is so good at the moment, guys. And the main reason Leblanc has got so good recently, guys, is because of those changes that came in a few patches ago, so Luden's Tempest being 200 gold cheaper. As an assassin mage in the mid lane, getting to this item spike means you're going to be able to get more kills, like you've got more time to make plays. And another reason I really like LeBlanc is that you do so well into assassins, right? Melee champions too, all of them. You do really well because you're so hard to get on, even to gank, right? Like if you're a jungler and you see an enemy mid who's LeBlanc, like it's so annoying to play against because you're passive. So she's another champion who's really forgiving to play, but what's even better is that you do have one-shot potential, so it's just naturally easier to carry games because you don't have to rely on your teammates. So LeBlanc, guys, comes in at number 4. Now, beating LB into the top 3, guys, coming in at number 3 is a champion who's just a bit better than Lee Sin, to be honest, but does pretty much the same job, and this is Nocturne. And even though Nocturne has been nerfed, so his lane sustain, Stride Breaker has been nerfed from a 90% slow to a 40% slow now, this all matters for sure, and this has seen Nocturne's win rate decrease. But I don't care what elo you are in, Nocturne is still going to be a pain in the backside to play against just because of that ultimate and Stride Breaker combination. Like if you don't have your flash as an AD carry or mid laner, you're probably going to die. Also, the fact that the fear is over 2 seconds still, please, right, just get this out of the game. So this is why Nocturne for me has to come in this countdown. Super easy to play, hard to push out of the mid lane, and it's level 6, especially in lower elos where, you know, not much coordination exists, very easy to make work. Now, beating Nocturne, guys, the best AP mid laner of patch 11.15 is Katarina, and Katarina was number 1 last patch, so why is she number 2 now? The number 1 champion, quite simply, is the most broken thing I've ever seen. But let's focus on Katarina. So Nash's Tooth and Riftmaker, right? And I've said it so many times, so I'll be quick. Nash's Tooth, what is this giving you? Attack speed? What does that mean? Well, this is getting pumped into your ultimate. It gives you on hit, which is getting pumped into your daggers, Shumpo, ultimate. So there's 3 things. The attack speed even helps with your wave clear as well, which Cat kind of typically, you know, struggles with. And then your Riftmaker, because you're getting stacks quicker, this means that in terms of your short and even long trades, you're a lot better off. With Conqueror 2, it's just a match made in heaven, and Katarina, for a champion who is kind of hard to play, you know, you have to have matchup knowledge and how to kind of like navigate through the early game. She has like a 52% win rate, which I think speaks volumes to how good she is, so she comes in at number 2. Now, beating Katarina, guys, to the number 1 spot, I think this is going to come as no surprise to you who have played against Irelia in the mid lane, and specifically W Max Irelia. This is nuts. Now, the new Irelia, if you don't already know, the new passive stacks, you only need 4 of these now. So each time you execute an enemy, whether it's a minion jungle camp champion with your Q, you get a stack. Each time you hit an enemy champion with your W or your E, you get a stack. So think about this. You're just standing in the mid lane as Irelia with all of your abilities. You press W on the minion wave, and because your W now is doing more damage and also reducing physical and magic damage from enemy champions, you can get pretty much all the minion wave, 1 hit. So all you have to do is Q to them, you get 4 stacks, jump on the enemy champion, and you automatically win. Also, what I think is underrated is the fact that when you get your ultimate at each level, so 6, 11, and 16, your Q cooldown goes down. So if you do happen to misplay, it's just more forgiving now. And yes, Irelia is getting nerfed next patch, so your W's AD ratio is down by 10%, which is actually kind of a large change, but still, you're going to get the minions low enough to Q to them to execute them, and the physical damage reduction and magical damage reduction is down at later ranks as well. But are these big enough changes? Hell no. She's still going to be broken, so if there was ever a time to pick Irelia, it is now. Even if you play it for the first time, you're probably still going to pop off. That's how good she is. And that was it for the top 15 mid laners, guys, for 11-15. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the list. And until tomorrow's video, this has been the Jizz. Make sure you hit that sub button, by the way. Bye.